Thank you, Senator Moody. We've got one more member that is on their way. I've got a couple of questions. Mr. Romano, in one of your responses, you tagged, you made a comment, President Trump and his co-conspirators. Were you referring to those of us that had our phone records seized as being co-conspirators?
No, absolutely not. I was referring to the fact that the election interference indictment identifies several
So you
unnamed
were not
co-conspirators.
indicting us as co-conspirators?
No, of course not.
Okay, do you want to provide a written clarification for that remark?
If the committee requests one, I certainly am happy to.
It's requested.
Okay.
All right. I have a question for each of the telecoms. So for Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, have you all fired anyone involved in this debacle? Mr. Miller first.
Senator, no one has been fired. We do have new leadership over the organizations.
But nobody lost their job.
We have new leadership. No one has been terminated, Senator.
Okay. Mr. Nelson?
Nobody has been terminated.
Okay.
No one has been terminated at AT&T.
All righty. We're looking at the Stored Communications Act, and we are working on some modifications and updates to that and doing some NDO reform legislation, particularly the NDO Fairness Act. And that's something that some of us on this dais are certainly co-sponsors of. So we will ask each of you, would you support reforms to the Stored Communications Act to mandate meaningful judicial review to ensure that the NDOs meet the constitutional standards? So, Mr. Miller, for you first.
Yes, Senator. We'd be happy to work with you and your office on that.
Okay.
The same for us. We would support clarity on NDO requirements and happy to work with your offices in the committee.
Okay.
Agreed. We would support that kind of clarity.
All right. Would you support that before issuing an NDO, there would be a requirement of the court that they should have a written determination that the statutory standard for issuing the NDO has been met and has been based on specific facts?
Senator, that sounds like a reasonable expectation of the court. Be happy to discuss it.
Okay.
The same here.
All right.
Senator, I know our team is looking at that. It sounds smart. We'll come back with a position once we analyze it.
Okay. I have one more question for Mr. Miller, and then we've got one member. Do we know how close? On his way. Okay. Because I don't want to close the hearing until he gets here. All right. Jack Smith's deposition before the House Judiciary Committee, they talked about 6628. And we've discussed that some this morning. And specific question to him was, whose responsibility it was to flag that an NDO had been placed on a senator's phone line. And here's what Jack Smith replied, and I quote, "My reading of that statute is that it's the job of the carrier. And to me, that makes the most sense because they're the ones who have the best and most accurate information about whose phone lines are whose," end quote. So, Mr. Miller, basically what Jack Smith did was to throw the telecoms under the bus. And you all have mentioned, Senator Graham asked you about this and about who controlled those logs. You all control those logs. So what is your response to Jack Smith?
Senator, I'm not sure the full context of what Mr. Smith was discussing, but I would think the prosecution or the law enforcement entity is in the best position to determine whose records are being subpoenaed and whether that individual is a sitting member of Congress. I'm unclear if Mr. Smith was implying that there was a violation of Section 6628, which I would not agree with.
You would not agree that there was a violation of 6628?
I would not agree that Verizon committed a violation of Section 6628.
Okay. Well, I think you've seen there's a difference of opinion on this dais. All right. Are we looking at 1 minute, 2 minutes? We don't.